Good morning, traders. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get right towards the live trading action. We got initial jobless claims that came out, ADP, a lot of news out there. What will happen to the SPY today? Find out right here on live trading.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. I mean, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, team, let's get it started. Let's bring on the boys here. We got Ryan, of course, in the Detroit office. You guys know it. Guys, go check out the HQ soon enough. I'm telling you guys, I got something up my sleeve here for early 2023. Just trying to secure a little bit of a sponsor so that we can make it really big. Stay tuned, team. That's going to include you guys, the live trading team. It's going to be pretty big. Stick around for that. Always, Zunaid in the house.
Up,
and guess what?
What
no hoodie trading.
On?
No hoodie
dude. Today's laundry day, so my hoodies and all that stuff are in the laundry. We'll be back at it, ready to go next week, though. You know,
you need a laundry day hoodie, Zunaid.
I do. I also need a haircut. I mean, look, but that's coming next week, though.
Next week. That means big things next week. You already know. Look at that smile.
Look at the bomb. He's getting ready to line up the bombs. Let's
go. I thought today we'd start off with Ryan. He's been doing really great in jumping into the S&P 500, checking out what's going on in the SPY. So I'll go to Ryan first. He'll get us started. I'll let him take a look at what he's seeing. Then we'll dive into what I'm looking at. Today, I'll just give you the outlook for me. I'm expecting a range break to the downside. Now I'll let Ryan talk about what he sees out there and what he is kind of looking at into the market.
Almost called me range there, but you know what?
Yeah,
I'll
range.
I'll take it, Mitch, because actually I'm in the same camp as you. I still have a bearish sentiment. If you recall, for the past several weeks, even leading back into last year, I've been saying that I think SPY is going to retest the lows early this year. And as far as I'm concerned, the earlier it happens this year, the better off it's going to be, I think. However, as far as like the range that you're talking about, I mean, first of all, we haven't quite broken the pre-market lows we haven't quite broken the intraday low from yesterday. That's at 380. However, we did kind of break the two lows that we put in after the FOMC minutes yesterday. So the market here, the SPY trading up a little bit in the pre-market. We got the initial jobless claims number. We're lower here. Mitch, I know it seems like you're a little bit more bearish in the near term than I am. I think that this down move could actually take several weeks to materialize. However, regarding the rectangle or the range that you're talking about, I mean, in order to break this, we really only need to trade down to 375, and we're currently at 381. I think that's possible if we continue to see some selling pressure. I would say that if we break out of this range, next downside targets are going to be 370, and then really probably 360 for the round number. But honestly, it's going to be more of this 355 area, which is where we turned around last time. So again, I think the lows are going to get broke. Unsure if that's going to happen here today, but I'm still in the bear camp.
I'm taking my shot. We'll see what happens today. I even did a lunch bet with Dennis. That's how confident I was in it. But the big thing for me is more the rule of three playing in. I don't see it breaking through that 385. I see that as being the resistance from here on out. So if we get maybe a wick there, it's okay. I wouldn't expect to even see like a 5-minute or a 10-minute candle close above 385.
So you're saying that the top of this range here effectively is going to be your resistance. You don't see us breaking out of that. I would imagine that eventually we have to break down, right? We're not just going to continue to trade sideways. So if you're unable to break the top end of that range, it's probably going to snap the bottom end of that range.
And what we did was we are kind of in a bearish pattern for me in the rule of three. Really quickly, I'll just show you guys that so that we can kind of move forward and we can take a look at some different stocks. But the rule of three coming into play, right? Downside action, that's going to be your down one. It's the same way we do it on the up one, right? Down one, up one, down two, up two, down three, up three. Now we should go and take out that down three level. So I'm going to be looking for that day, 377.83. If we take that down, I feel the pattern breaks and it goes. So that's the big thing for me to watch today. We'll see if we get that to take out. What could take that down. I'll tell you right now, the one that I'll be watching for more takedown is Apple. Apple for a downside move through this kind of low of the Tuesday low, 124.17, and really continuing to just completely breaking this pattern, maybe going towards 119, 120s in the next couple of days is what I'm expecting to see. And as Apple goes, a lot of times the market goes. So then I'll kick it back to you guys. What are you guys taking a look at today? Who wants to go?
I'm ready.
I thought he was going. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm ready.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Not to jump in front. Another possible swing short idea here today. We're going to talk about Walgreens Boots Alliance. This is ticker WBA. We're taking a look at the chart here. Clearly in a downtrend, tried to bounce and really rolled over from that bounce. Now we do have earnings here, right? So Walgreens Alliance shares are trading lower after the company reported Q1 earnings results and issued guidance. So Walgreens, I don't know. To me, it seems like the consumer is getting weaker and weaker. Walgreens technically seems like it's gonna at least challenge this low. Sure looks to me like it wants to roll over. We're 6 points away from that. So I think maybe using puts here for a potential swing short. We'll be watching Walgreens here today. Now, also we're going to be watching some of the smaller cap names. Remember, we're still in that theme where select biotech names are giving us opportunities on a fairly regular basis, and it's no different here today. First one is going to be BLPH. I'm almost certain we've traded this as a group here today. Or not today, as a group together in the past. BLPH, this has been on the scanner before. We are seeing here the shares are trading higher if the company announced that it entered into a license agreement for the development and commercialization of Enopulse with Baylor Biosciences. So market really liking this. We traded all the way up to 226, came back in and tested the 159 level, and then returned all the way to 226 and took that out. So what I'd like to see is I'd either like to see this formation be repeated, or I'd like to come into a support level that's clearly defined, and then we can try and trade it there. I certainly don't want to take it when it's extended. Remember what we saw yesterday with VVOS, right? Really, really strong in the pre-market and then weak out of the gate. So we want to be patient. We want to make sure that we don't get in too early on any of these names. Next one here is going to be ABVC. This is another one here that's trading up in the pre-market. Now we have retraced quite a bit of that move. ABVC Biopharma shares are trading higher after the company announced the FDA approved its IND submission, allowing the company to proceed with the clinical study. So seems like good news, but remember, this is just allowing them to proceed with the study. I'm not sure how much juice this actually has. One of the ways that I would trade this would be off of just kind of technicals, right? If we're able to find a near-term bottom and it looks pretty good, maybe we'll be able to scalp this. Certainly not one I'm holding overnight. However, this might be something to do some more due diligence on and see what's going to be involved in that study. This is not something that I follow, so I don't know off the top of my head, but that would be the next course of action if you're going to look for a little bit deeper. One of the other things that we saw was Western Digital, right? That's WDC. It's not on the list here. But Western Digital definitely on watch here today. We did get news here that Western Digital shares are trading higher following the report suggesting the company and Kioxa, I probably pronounced that wrong, have revived merger talks. So we're in merger talks here. Nothing's really finalized. These rumors can sometimes be tradable. If we take a look at the daily chart here on Western Digital, we're really kind of at the bottom or near a bottom. We did kind of hold this $30 level as kind of like a near-term double bottom. We are clearly in a downtrend, but with merger talks, that might end up helping the stock trade higher. $40 seems like that. If it continues some upside momentum, $40 seems reasonable in terms of an actual price target. So we'll keep an eye on this one today as well. Moving back to the movers list, HKD, our friend HKD, who has provided a bunch of wild trading days here in the past, making some more moves here today. It's back on the movers list. This is, of course, AMTD Digital. This one I'm going to stay away from just because it's it's kind of a wild stock here. However, you can see we do have some pretty good moves here in the pre-market. Really what we want to do is we want to stay above this 1650, right? We want to stay in this formation and then hopefully clear it out on volume. If that happens, we'll probably trade up towards that 1850 level and then maybe even attack 20. One of the things that's happened to this stock in the past is that there's been a lot of halts. That's something I definitely want to avoid. So I'm probably not gonna trade this and look for something else. However, it's worth noting this is going here today. I think that's all. AMTD would trade in sympathy with that. We already talked a little bit about Apple. By the way, speaking of Apple, we never really got down to the 120 spot that we were looking for a bounce. It didn't. In fact, let me flip over here to the daily chart. We didn't quite get down there. We did bounce a little bit. Question is really going to be how long does this bounce last? And as Mitch was saying earlier, he's going to be watching Apple as a tell for the broader market. And I think there was someone else in the chat here. It might have been Three Pharaohs Tower saying that you were looking for to short Apple, right? It looks like you're also in that camp that Apple going to the downside. So we'll watch this one. This is definitely going to be a market proxy for me. We did get a bounce, but my issue is I think that bounce might be over. That might be a shorter term bounce. Zunaid, what do you got for us today, my man?
All right, let's take a look at, we're going to talk into the SPY because the only number that matters to me in terms of the SPY, let me put that puppy up right there, is going to be 380. So let's kind of lock in. By the way, this is just me kind of zooming out, having a little bit of fun. Obviously, we peaked below this range and then came right back up. It's kind of like where we've been. Can't get over the 386.26 area. But the main thing that I'm locked in and focused on is when and if we go ahead and break the 380. Let's go ahead and include the pre-market here. So we're kind of close, but haven't gotten there quite yet. So you can see the beautiful 380 bounce that we had yesterday that gave you about 5 to 6 points. Today, I would like to see a break with 380 to the downside or a break of 386.26 to the upside. Besides that, I will not be playing the SPY otherwise. At least that's what I'm telling myself. So that's the biggest thing for me to kind of keep an eye on. Let's go ahead and check out the Qs. On the Q, similar story, except for you on the Q side of things, you've got this range right over here, this break, which is going to be about 260, 245 to the downside. So if we can break that, let's just call it about 262 if we can. If we go ahead and break 262, welcome to the show, y'all. You can go ahead and expect some downside. And of course, on the upside, you've got about 267.50s is where you want to go ahead and break. And then you can go ahead and revisit the 270s that you see right over here. So let's go ahead and draw that puppy just so we know where we're at. So that's kind of the range that we're chilling in for the past 2 days, right? Let's see if we can go ahead and move forward to Tesla. That 110 level was so key. You can see right here, broke it. Didn't quite give us the retest. Excuse me. This is where we're at. Yeah, well, the reason we had that 110 level set up, though, was because of this area here. So then yesterday, you had a little bit of trickery going on, trying to go ahead and get folks in and out. But lastly, it did go ahead and retest, held, and then to the upside we went. So now, similar story, 110. How do we go ahead? Actually, let me go. There we go. That's the 110. I had it off a little bit. Perfect. So what happens here at the 110, right? If we head and move to the downside, cool. Do we get a retest and then plummet down below or no? That's what I want to kind of keep in mind for Tesla. Let's go ahead and take a look at AMD. Nothing really that I personally like on AMD. Amazon is the one that I am going to be intrigued on, but I'll go over NVIDIA for a second here as well. We talked about the 150 level that rejected two trading sessions ago. Didn't quite get up there, rejected at 148. I believe one of our viewers was able to short it at that point. So great job on capturing the short and some money. Now we'll see if we want to go ahead and start heading to the downside on this one or not. For me personally, I like other stocks in terms of ranges and outbreaks and different things like that I'm a fan of. So not really going to go ahead and play NVIDIA. Amazon, to me, this was an L that I took yesterday. Traded this one live. We went ahead and got short. The mistake that I had made was I was focused on the 15-minute, but if I was on the 5, I would have made some money. But I think we had shorted it here, and it never quite went all the way to the 83s to go ahead and give us some profit. And then when it collapsed to the upside, if you will, we went and got stopped out, which is perfectly fine because we got stopped out somewhere around I think like somewhere around here. And obviously the stock continued going. So we did a great job protecting our capital and knowing when we were wrong and getting out of the way. So now the game plan for me on Amazon is somewhat similar, right? So if we go ahead and break this 84.50s to the downside, I'd be interested in going short. Maybe even if we break the 85s, but this is going to be on the back burner for me. I've got other stocks that I like a lot more and other tickers such as your SPY, 380, such as your Teslas on the 110s. But let's go ahead and check out Google here as well. Google on this one, no levels that I personally really like. If you want to go for the play of break of yesterday's low, you can play it here. We might even get that in the pre-market. So let's see how it behaves around 87. But besides that, not something I really like. Microsoft had a downgrade yesterday, and to the downside it went. We've got a clear level on what we need to break if we want this to go any lower, and that's going to be the 225. After the 225, I think you can see 220. Excuse me, after the 226, I think you can see the 225 go ahead and hold up a bit. So you want to keep that on your radar for Microsoft. And then, of course, the other one is going to end up being right over here at 230. So this is the range that we traded in yesterday after the downgrade. Which way do we go is going to be the question. I'm going to go ahead and remove this one. There we go. That's that. Delete. All right. Let's go ahead and check out on Meta. This one was strong. We got a chance to play this one yesterday with the relative strength that it had. But to the downside, it's coming at the moment. Don't really like any levels here personally. I think Microsoft is a much better trade if you want to play to the upside or downside. We'll see where relative strength comes in on this one. Neo, after the $10 break to the upside, it went. If you're looking to go short, in my opinion, you got to wait for the $10 break on the 5 or 15-minute candle close. Then you can go ahead and take a shot to the downside here. I'm going to go to remove ATNF. Not really something I'm keeping an eye on. Rivian, $17. That's going to be the key if you're trying to go short. It held yesterday after we reclaimed it. So it went ahead and broke it, reclaimed it, and then it went to the upside. This is again where I went ahead and lost on a short, but I managed my risk properly. And instead of, getting stopped out all the way at $18 or having hopium or anything like that, I think I got stopped out around like 1730s or 1740s. Saved about 60 cents on 100 shares. So that really kind of helps out. And then lastly on Netflix, this one was beautiful. As soon as it broke that 300 right here on the 15-minute, it went to the upside. So yesterday I had to make a decision that either I go long Netflix or I go short Amazon. Which way was I going to go? Unfortunately, I went short Amazon, so I did not get a chance to capture this Netflix trade to the upside. That was a mistake I made. But nonetheless, hopefully some of you captured it when we called it out. And they went to the upside to 310s, now coming back down. Keep an eye on this 304. See if it finds support there. If it breaks 304, I think you can visit 300s. A trade that we did take together and make some money on was on BABA because it broke that $100 level. And once it broke that $100 level, we got a chance to play this one to the upside. I unfortunately went ahead and sold a little bit earlier. I went ahead and sold around let me see if this even has notification logs. No, it only has it for today. I think it was around 101 something or something in that range, but it went all the way to the 104. So if you want to go ahead and play BABA to the long side, I think your best risk reward is going to be at $100. And then if it goes ahead and cracks, let's say 99.40s or so, then you got to go ahead and get out. But if you want to play to the short side, same thing. Wait for the crack of 100 on the 5 or 15-minute candle. See how it behaves. Wait for the retest. If you get it, great. Give yourself about 50 cents to $1, and then go ahead and have your risk and rewards locked in. But that's kind of pretty much it. My main watches are going to be SPY. Oops, nope, didn't mean to do that. Are going to be SPY 380s is what I'm keeping an eye on. And then when it comes to the Qs, you've got your 262.15s that I'm going to keep an eye on. Let's just call it about 262s. And then when it comes to, what was the other one that I really liked? Microsoft, with the range that it's currently on, you've got about 226. So going to go ahead and keep that one ready to go. Or if it wants to crack it to the upside, we've got 230s locked and loaded as well. I don't think I checked out Apple, so I can go ahead and do Apple on this one. The 128.50s, I think this is. Yeah, 128.50s if you want to play that. But if you want to play the downside, you've got a level clear as day right over here, which would be about the 125. If you clear 125s, you can expect a little bit of support at 124 as well. And I'm going to get a sip of water, Ryan. Anything you got?
Enjoy that sip of water. Let's see if... Oh, there's Mitch. Look at that. Mitch coming to save the hoodie trader.
Always. Pinky on up.
Pinky up, orange juice. We're ready to roll. I got my bubbly. It's water. It's sparkling water, but it's still water nonetheless. So we're out here. We're hydrating. We're ready to go. I'm
That's what
watching
it's all about.
I'm watching BLPH. So we had talked about BLPH. Someone in the chat here said BLPH is doing crazy things. Yes, it is. Actually made a run towards 3, broke 3 to the upside here. So even more craziness. Also, I didn't mention it earlier. I guess we have a couple of minutes. We can go over it now. Oops, let me go ahead and fix my linking here real quick. Yes, sorry about that. So NVCR, Novocure here, up really huge and retrade. It was, I think it printed almost 200, right? Yeah, 190 prints. We're all the way back down at 107 here. Kat, let me go ahead and bring this up on the screen. Sorry about that, boys. Novocure shares are trading higher if the company announced the Lunar study met its primary endpoint, demonstrating a statistically significant and clinically meaningful improvement in the overall survival of the standard therapies alone. So seems like good news, a huge pop, but a big retracement here. This one a little wild. This could also be wild here today. I probably won't trade this one, but an interesting move here nonetheless. Also worth noting, nat gas hit 380. So I think oil and UNG probably due for a bounce pretty soon. How's that?
Z Lab.
I like it. Solid.
Okay.
You guys hear about Z Lab?
No, what is Z Lab?
I don't know. It sounds like something like Zunaid's running, but who knows?
Well, I mean, I the way that it's popping, I wish I was invested. Unfortunately, I'm not.
I'm just looking at biotechs here that are making big moves on the day. It seems like that's where the area is going to be if you're looking for those little small names or runners.
That's where it's been. That's where it's been too, Mitch.
Yeah, IWM moves, a lot of those. TENX, BLPH, you guys talked about that one. ABVC, it's another one I'll give here. Looks interesting here. It already made a move towards above 178. It's pulling back. 119 is a good daily level to look for the support to kind of come into play now. We'll look to see if it actually acts as support at that 119. You can see it's trying to hold that right now in the pre-market. Then you got that Z Lab. I just thought it was pretty funny. But ORTX is another one. Penny stock that looks like maybe doing it the really penny stock, trying to maybe do that $1 run. A lot of stocks sometimes do this little push towards $1 because they're just trying to stay, compliant. So maybe this one tries to make a $1 run. We'll see what happens. It did have already a spike towards 87 cents, back down to 65s. Remember, penny stock, be careful on these one team. 9:30. Let's see what we get, team.
Here we go.
I'm watching Apple and Tesla to look to see if we get takedowns. Tesla mainly also to see if we get a takedown, because if it breaks 108 today, I think Tesla will let go. We'll end up finding out what happens there. But Apple really my indicator here for the market coming down right out the gates.
I was going to say first move is lower. First move there is lower. BLPH now 344 here out of the open. It's kind of all over the place. So again, one of the things we talked about in terms of the strategy for this one, really want it to kind of set up, right? Really want it to slow down and set up. Not doing that just yet here. Walgreens first move here is down as well. I do think 30 is probably on deck at some point. Maybe not today, but that's what I'm thinking for a swing short here. I'd use puts to do that. No position at this time.
All right, taking a look at what's going on.
I've got my alert sets. As soon as something's popping off, we'll go ahead and spring into action. But for now, the market starts more than 0.5% down. You've got the Qs that are weaker than the SPY. Matter of fact, there's not a single ticker green on my watch list at the moment. The weakest one is going to be your NEO and your Rivian. So I'm waiting for Rivian to crack 17. It looks like Tesla just went ahead and cracked the 110s. So let's keep an eye on that one, see how it wants to behave.
Oh, let me throw up your chart. Sorry.
Oh, you're good, buddy. I am multitasking today, so it might be a little in and out, but hopefully we'll be good to go. You've got, yep, there it goes. So there's a 110 level broken and almost a point on that one. The reason I didn't want to go ahead and take that short, even though that's a level that it encroached on mine to the downside, is because you can always get those wicks. And Mitch, you have a saying if you want to go ahead and say it.
Those wicks are tricks, man. They get you.
Sure are. They sure are. And sometimes they take my money, and I don't really like that. So for me, I like to wait for at least a 5-minute close, if not 15. 15 is safer. The higher time frame, the less chances of you getting faked out. So that's why I want to go ahead and wait. And there's Microsoft going towards the 225. Same thing. We're going to keep an eye. Let's go ahead and wait for a 5-minute candle close. Let's get an idea on if buyers go ahead and step in around these levels or not. And then we can go ahead and spring into action, especially because I expect the 225 itself to go ahead and be a level of support. So I want to go ahead and make sure I get as much juice as possible to the short side as I possibly can.
W saying thoughts on NVCR. Don't really have any, kind of watching it here out of the gate. Big move up to 190 and retraced $90 of that move. Currently sitting here at 106. This is not something that I follow. The trading action here is a little bit interesting. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if this tried to bounce back towards the VWAP, but it sure seems weak here right now. And sorry, I forgot to switch the screen again, Zunaid, my bad. It seems weak here today though, so I'm not really in a rush for that. I do think you can get a bounce here, but I don't have enough context here on the catalyst. W. Shelly's asking where the cat is back at home. Shelly, I am at the headquarters, and HKT is halted.
You don't take your cat to the headquarters, Ryan?
Oh man, that would be my blood pressure would be like a constant 170 if that.
Always worrying about what's going on.
Oh man,
I feel you on that, brother.
Yeah. And by the way, BLPH here moving down. We're actually sub 278 here on BLPH. I'm not sure what happened there right at the open. My chart didn't update, but here we go.
Hard down move on the 5-minute for the SPY. 380s.
Looks like CRM down move there too.
Yeah, I'm looking at CRM for a short. I just needed to come back to VWAP. That's why the hands are down and I'm being patient. You see, like I'm like, no. Don't jump into it.
So I've tried that trick. I've tried that trick. When not trading, I've actually tried to grab my own arms so that I don't click.
Yeah, literally. Look, that's what I'm doing. Literally. As you're saying it, I'm doing it.
All right. Glad I
want to get short. I want to get short, but then when you get short like that and then you see it pop right back to VWAP, then you're like, oh, dude, are you just a dummy? Like
BLPH didn't quite get down to its VWAP here, about 255. It is curling here, though. Maybe a move through 290 would be a possible entry for a scalp. BLPH. Just be careful with this one, though, because, again, this could knife at any time. We actually already saw that here out of the open. Wiss saying Cala's moving. Let's take a look at Cala here. I don't see it yet on the relative volume scanner, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what's going on. Looks like it's up 14% here today. This was one of the reverse splits, right? Yeah. Ooh, Cala moving up here. Looks like we had a high in the pre-market of about 50 and change, maybe 50.75. Looks like maybe it's trying to attack that. Intraday high from yesterday, got it at about 56. I don't know if that's going to be in play today. Really need to see this volume expand. I'm sorry, Zunaid.
No, you're good. No, you're totally good, dude. I don't have a trade just yet, but I might. So here on Microsoft, 5-minute candle close was above the 225. We are not going to chase. We are going to wait till we get an uptick. And here's the uptick on 225.92. I am short 100 shares of Microsoft here. Stop loss for me is going to be 225.72. Taking profits at 225.12. That's going to be a 1-to-1 trade. We're already in the money by $47, $50 right there. Hello. Hopefully, unlike yesterday, we can actually reach our profit targets and not just go ahead and get annihilated to the upside. But that's what I'm short. Promise you guys that we would go ahead and talk about the retest and different things like that. And we don't just talk about it. We actually do it here as well. And here we go. We'll see if we can lock in some gains at 225.12. And if we can, that's one way to start off the day is going to be green beans. But we'll see if we can finish that out, though.
All right. Well, team, almost there, right? Tesla down to 108.70s now. It's almost doing that break of the 108. We'll see if we get that. You guys can see it here with my Benzinga Pro. Look at Apple coming down too. So far, what I was looking for, it pretty much worked out. And Apple did have a VWAP fade. Kind of missed it on the first little pullback, but we'll see if we get another pullback to the VWAP and are able to knock it down.
I did see a little bit of Apple puts so far this morning, but nothing really notable. Nothing that I would I'd place a trade off of. They were puts though. It looks like more people playing it to the downside here. And BLPH knifed. It really didn't complete the curl there. Went to 297 and knifed. Got to be careful with BLPH.
One thing to note, I think it's very important. All the growth names that were doing well yesterday with the January effect are getting the dump right now at the gates. So just be careful out there, team. Like one that you guys can just look at to measure this is ARKK. Look how that just came down really fast here out the gates. Doesn't mean that necessarily it's going to completely break for the rest of the day, but definitely pulling back. You can also see that with like a stock like, let's say, Unity. Look how Unity's pulling back really quickly out the gates. We'll see what happens. What's up, Hoodie?
Well, so you've got Microsoft that went ahead and traded up. We talked about how we're going to take that trade. We did, and we already locked in gains. Got $80 in the bank right over there. And now we're ready once again to lock in loads. If it wants to come on back to the 225.92 to go ahead and give us a chance to short, we will go ahead and take it. But it looks like it just wants to make low of day. A strategy that I should have done, and again, is because I'm down on the year when it comes to TradeStation, right? So ideally, when I'm down, I want to make sure that I'm not kind of like on tilt mode. So if I was, not down and I was comfortable with my trading to the point where I believe in the trade and whatnot, I would like to have ideally gone short, let's say 200 or 300 shares like we did with Amazon yesterday. And the reason I bring that up is because then at that 225.15 level, I would have sold half, aka covered half, and then moved my stop loss to break even at that 225.92 level so that we can go ahead and get our 2-to-1 trade instead of just a 1-to-1 trade. But only had 100 shares. We're already out of the trade. Now we wait for the retest of 226 if we go ahead and get it. And if we do, great. We'll play it one more time. If we don't, we don't. We keep it moving. Looking at Tesla here, that 110 level was key. And you can see after it broke it, it has not retested it quite a bit. And then it just continues to the downside. That's making lows itself as well. SPY is the next target that I've got ready to lock with in terms of a short. If we can go ahead and cross this 380 area on the 5-minute close below it, I will look to go short SPY. Ideally, I would love for it to still go ahead. Ideally, I would like for it to consolidate right here and then break. But we'll see which direction it wants to go in, and then we'll plan our trade that way.
Real quick here, Jay Rice. It's like you were a fly on the wall of the happy hour yesterday. Jay Rice saying Constellation Brands here, stock ticker STZ. 2 standard deviation moves, supposed to be a defensive name, not good. Completely agree with you. Now we are at a support level here. It looks like potential bottom here, potential bounce area. But Jay, I'm with you right here. We were talking about some of these defensive names and them not performing well, and that being a bad sign. And that's kind of what we're seeing here today. So I had no position going into this particular print, but this was a subject of discussion last night. We did trade lower here. We're down by 5%, but worth noting we are at a potential bounce spot. One of the things I'd like to ask you or get input from the group here is, what is it going to take for you what do you need to see in order to like some of these defensive names? Are you looking for value or anywhere or anything like that out there? So just something to kind of keep in mind. I think maybe value returns at some point this year, but seeing a name like this trading down 5% here today, not great. Not great at all.
Not. Here we go. So there's a SPY crack in the 380s. I'm going to go ahead and look to go short at 379.94s. And then actually, let's go ahead and make that 100 shares. All right, looking to go short 100 shares on the SPY at 379.94 if it wants to come back and retest it. If not, that's perfectly fine. Stop loss for me, however, is going to be about this 381 is where I'm going to go ahead and get stopped out.
Apple now down almost to 125. We got 125.40 right now. Tesla 108.03. We're going to get the crack of that 108. Ooh, looks like there could be some bag holders stuck in Tesla right now. Be careful out there, team.
And VIX pushing too, Mitch. VIX about to hit that 23 mark.
I mean, a little part of me isn't even trading this too much because it's like I almost feel like I have my own like confirmation bias, but everything's just working out the way I was seeing it in the pre-market. So now I'm just kind of holding on to my Duke swing trade. That's in the green as we start coming down on utilities today. Was thinking, do I just short more utilities? I could do that, right? I could, but that's just like double dip in there, and I don't like to double dip. So I'm looking for another sector to kind of maybe swing trade, maybe figure that out. But definitely Tesla just breaking through that 108. Let's see if it recovers. You guys can see it here on the left-hand side, 108. It's trying to recover there on the 5-minute. It's going to be a big, important level. I did think that yesterday when we pulled back here towards the 107.80 areas, that's where I feel like a lot of traders were jumping in big. Let's see if we get the flush on them and we roll right through that number. back down towards those 104 lows that we saw in Tesla just earlier this week.
BLPH here, absolutely wild. Mitch, I'm not sure how to get
I got you, my friend. I'll get you right back. Look, boom.
Boom, boom. BLPH here, really, really interesting trading, right? So we really kind of just bled down to the VWAP. We actually traded beneath the VWAP here. And then out of nowhere, we got a volume pop here all the way back up to 3. So dangerous with this one. It's moving fast, probably a little too quick for me on this one. But this not over yet here. Not over yet here. BLPH, looks like it wants to test and move through 3 yet again here.
Only sector in the green from the open is going to be energy, teams. So if you're looking for what's green from the open, energy, everything else in the red from the open. Dragging the hardest is technology stocks. So look at that downturn. Pow, pow, pow. NVIDIA, AMD. Ooh, the big boys are just getting the flush on right now. Even Meta that was super strong, right? Well, it's starting to come back down. Was that some topping action as it filled the gap yesterday and now just going to start working its way back down? I actually like that for a short. I would like it closer towards 127, but it's already getting that hit there. We'll see what happens here. CRM, remember I was looking for a short on that. That's already been flushing down. Didn't give me that bounce to VWAP. Look at this. It just never even went up there. I was waiting, but never made the move towards VWAP. Now down to 135.68. It isn't looking good there. Maybe Oracle starts getting the hit now as you're seeing that get hit. Apple down about 1.7 from the open. Microsoft down. Big boys getting hit.
It almost seems like the market wants to crack to kind of force the Fed's hand. What do you think about that?
What happened?
It almost seems like the market wants to crack. It wants to break down, and it wants to force the Fed's hand.
My thing is, I feel like the bulls are just so optimistic right now. For what? Why would you be optimistic?
I'm normally a bull,
New year, new
and
me.
I'm not.
New year, new me. Well, find out how that works out. Find out how that works out every year.
New year, new me isn't just for the folks in the gym, you know? Markets have feelings too.
We'll find out how that works out, right? New year, new me.
Hey, man, look, I'm in the camp of, it's funny. My friends have always, some that trade are always like, hey, like, what do you see on the daily and the weekly? I'm like, bro, you think that highly of me? Like, I'm looking at 9 o'clock. Like, come on, man. They're like, yeah, there's a wedge on the daily. I'm like, I haven't had a wedgie since I was like 9. Like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, I don't do dailies, weeklies. I don't. I'm sorry. I stick to my 5, my 15s, and if I really want to get spontaneous in life, I'll look at the 65-minute. But besides that,
one day, team, one day.
I'm just saying.
One day Zunaid will get older. One day Zunaid will get older, team.
And one day he'll get older and want to move to some longer-term charts, like daily charts.
Weekly charts? No way.
Like, look back. When was it? I think it was this little downtrend that we had drawn. Like, yeah, I'll go ahead and take a look at that. But I guess what I'm saying is I will never go ahead. I haven't in the past 18 months done a lot of swing trading based on dailies or this, that, the other. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really hold on to, especially because if I trade options, like I'm not doing that. You're out of your mind. So yeah, no, I'll stick to my 5 and 15, man. We gonna rock and roll with that one. But
go rock.
Jay Rice saying important to not be overly bullish or bearish. And this is really, really good advice. This is actually something that I'm working on. Definitely have been in periods where I've been overly bullish. And while I don't think that I'm currently overly bearish right now, that is the possibility. And when the news flow is just so bad, it's hard to not kind of jump on the bandwagon, if you will. But this is really good advice for anyone out there. New trader, experienced trader, really, really important to try and be as objective as you can and not get too overly to either side, feeling overly optimistic about either side.
Yeah, I think for newer traders, you just keep it simple. There's no need for you to even worry too much about the macro situation. Just turn on the TV. They'll be worrying it for you.
They'll be worrying. I like that. I might reuse that, Mitch. I think that's pretty good. And I mean, and really quick, just on what you said there, that's kind of what Zunaid's saying, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's got his system. He's going to do it. And here, his system's producing another trade.
Yep, he sure is. And real quick, Mitch, I'm going to go short here at 261.76. I don't have the patience to go and have a retest of 262s itself. So there we go. Just 50 shares on this one. Short the Qs at 261.76. Stop loss 262.66. Taking profits here at 260.86. So about a 1-to-1 trade, $45 is what we're risking. And I tried to wait, chat. I tried to wait for the 380 test on the SPY. I haven't gotten it yet. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out this trade as a SPY. Is making new lows, but the Qs are looking to do the same. I guess, and the Qs.
Yeah, especially when you're seeing tech get hit that hard, right? And that's the one index that everyone saw at the beginning of the year. Like, no, that doesn't look good at all. So Q's definitely taking the big beating there. XLU looking good for the short. I know I'm short Duke, so I might have a little bias here, but definitely look at that XLU crack now. It looks good. It's definitely cracking there.
Looking good for your Duke short, honestly.
Honestly, I was even thinking about shorting like Dominion and SRE and even EXEL when it was right here at the 70-10s. But I'm like, this is where it gets a little tough, team. Like literally like talking through like my type of trading. Do I go hard in on the basket and just like push even further into the trade once I see it really breaking down? Or do I just be more risk adverse, stick to that Duke trade? You know, this is the thinking that traders really go through, right? It's important to kind of look back because really on a day like today, I mean, I could be hitting multiple ones of these, right? I mean, look at those downturn moves from the open. Nextera, the leader, right? Southern Company, Dominion, they're all down moves. This is why I mean, like sometimes it does make sense to hit the gas pedal on days like this, where you can make good amount of money, and then hitting the brake pedal on days where you're just not seeing things follow that direction.
I'll be right back, Joe.
No worries.
Walgreens here trying to hug that 35 level. Interesting thing. I really do think Walgreens is going to keep breaking down here. I would say if we get a pop back towards the VWAP here, WBA's ticker. And we get a pop back towards the VWAP here, that might be time to try to scale into that swing short here. Sure, this daily chart, I know we just talked about Zunaid not liking the daily. I do like the daily, and this sure looks like this wants to keep breaking down and test that 30 level. So I want to wait for some type of bounce that is just proves to not be all that strong, and then you can short this here.
Tesla trying to recover that 108. We'll see if it actually recovers it and holds it. That's the important level for me to watch on Tesla. That's where I think a lot of people are long. We'll see what happens there. Crow mentioning a nice pop on ATNF.
Yeah, he sure
check that one out.
Yeah, he's exactly right. ATNF did a pretty good job following here. I have to type the ticker in correctly in order to pull it up though. This did a nice little move here today. Not huge in the pre-market. Come on, chart, load up here. What's going on? I'm used to my own computer, Mitch. And when I get on a different computer, it throws me.
That's tough, man. I know how it is. I went to the headquarters once. I was just like, man, I feel like a duck out of water.
Yeah, it's just when you're not having your own setup, you feel a little off. But anyway, Crow's exactly right here. We had kind of a weak pre-market. Stock really moved out of the open here. We got the expanding volume that we look for, and then what even better here, we actually popped through the VWAP, then back tested the VWAP and moved higher. This would have been the trade here, even on that break through 479. We actually went as high as 538, I think. 538 there on that high print. So Crow exactly right. Nice pop there on ATNF. Looks like we bounced again as we traded back to the VWAP, and watch this formation here today. As long as the volume holds up, you should be in good shape.
Yeah, that ABVC is definitely getting a pretty good amount of manipulation there, team. Just be careful out there, team. I've seen so much volume flowing through there. It's incredible, but yeah, it's making that next push towards the daily pre-market high. We talked about that one earlier in the day.
A couple of things for me on the trade that I have. So I have, once again, set of trades ready to short SPY at 379.90s. 100 shares short, looking to go ahead and lock that in. I did go ahead and add to my short on the Q. So instead of just being short 50, I am short 100. I am also red on the trade, though. My stop loss is still going to be 262.66. Still looking to take profits at 261.06. And it looks like it may actually go ahead and stop me out. We're down currently $50 on the trade. So we went ahead and broke the level. but unfortunately, it's looking to come back and reclaim it on the 15-minute.
ABVC, by the way, that 180 looks to be that pre-market high. You might get a pop above here on ABVC.
Oh, okay. All right. Coming back to this.
Trying to get a starter on Apple.
Look how close we got to getting filled. Didn't quite get it, though.
Trying to get a starter short on Apple here. It's above VWAP again. Resistance should be around 126.56 for me. Like always, you guys choose your own levels. We'll see if we cut down right back through the VWAP. Put out an order at 126.40s, but no fill on that down action. It went right through my number. No fill. We'll look for a little pop back to get filled there. See if we can start shorting into Apple here. SPY bouncing a little bit, so just be careful, right? You want to see that the SPY continues down, because if we do get a rip back up, Apple could rip too.
Well, SPY's bouncing a little bit. Apple's bouncing more than the SPY. And by the way, ABVC, which we just talked about, halted here at 177. 178 was that pre-market high break. So this will be interesting to see what happens out of the halt.
Got my starter there in Apple. It's probably about 1/5 of what I want to go into it with. I'm just trying to slowly go into it here. Try to get the best average. So I got the 40. So we'll see if it rejects 126.56 first, and then I'll start adding on the way down.
NVCR here, 99 handle. This is down almost 100 points from the high in the pre-market here today. Really not even getting close to its VWAP here. NVCR. Kala 48. This is up another 14% today. Kala, yeah, this has been a wild one. W saying, Ryan, thoughts here on Kala? Well, first of all, as far as the trade goes, let me throw up my charts up here real quick. As far as the trade goes, the level that I'm really looking for here is this 50.81 level. I think that we probably test that 56 level, see if we have the juice to do that. If we take a look at yesterday, you can see when this really made its good move, it was accompanied by pretty outstanding volume that we haven't yet seen here today. So as far as my thoughts, well, I'd like to see some more volume expansion in this name. I'd like to see 50.81, let's just call it 50.75 thereabouts, get taken out on that volume. That would help confirm some more upside momentum here.
So
Kramer said China is investable. I think he called the low last.
I mean, he's not wrong in the sense of literally, but otherwise, in terms of profitability, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the inverse Kramer, right? The inverse Kramer.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, kind of bear flag looking on Tesla. I'm just looking to see if we're going to really crack through that 108. Just holding at that level. That's why it's so important. Here comes Apple for that 126.56 test here. So now what I can do is, since I'm in 1/5, it doesn't seem that bad to hold right here, right? Where it's doing this kind of wick attempt. We'll see if it really starts kind of pushing up there. But now I'm looking forward to just pull back here, back underneath this. And then we can start using this as our risk here. 127 will be our risk on the pop out. If it goes through that opening, you shouldn't be in this trade anymore. So the opening was 127.20. 127 is what I'll use. But by using that 1/5, like even if I lose here, like I'm not even worried about it.
On the Qs,
here's it's testing that. Qs.
What, is that your VWAP?
Yeah, down here. No, up here is a 200-day.
Gotcha. Thank you for that.
Gotcha,
I did go to get stopped out on the short, which is interesting and cute because I did go ahead and go short on the SPY at the 379.90s. So as we mentioned earlier, 379.90s is where I'm short 100 shares, looking to take profits at the 379.10. Stop loss is going to be approximately 380.70. So 1-to-1 trade, $80 on the line.
Rejection from 127 there. Let's see if it starts working its way back down. Remember, above that, I'll just get out. You guys make your own decision. For me, really, I'm watching Tesla here. 108 is so important because if it just starts pushing off of that 108, I'm pretty sure there's people taking their shots off of that 108. That's a daily level also, like right underneath that 108. And so we'll see what happens here. Does it start to recover, get back towards VWAP?
Apple with a really impressive bounce back here. We're all actually back to what? We're
right underneath the open.
Apple, yeah. No, we're green.
I have open as 127.20, but
oh, okay. No, I'm sorry.
I'm just talking about from the open.
Yesterday's close. This is
from the open. That's where it can confuse you, right? Yep. A lot of the times. I look at from the open because I mean, really, I consider pre-market like just kind of like price discovery type time. It's not really open to the volume that you normally see in the intraday.
That's how you confused me. You were going from the open. All of my stocks or all of my charts here have from previous
out
close.
the apple there. It's a small loss. To put it in perspective, it's about a fourth of what I normally lose on a position. So I'm not going to stress about that. Gave the starter position. Glad I went into it with the 5th versus going into it full head of steam, which is something that I'm trying to do more and more for day trading. Is one thing I realized is that if I have no commissions, I need to stop putting in my orders, even in probably a third. I need to split them out as much as I possibly can, because I'm not paying commissions. Build it up. Don't kind of just go all in. That's one thing that I'm trying to practice on.
Yeah, you're working
live trading.
Sounds like you're working on scaling from that,
scaling in, especially
scaling
for
in and
trades.
scaling out can really help, especially on day trades. That's exactly right. Apple really strong bounce here. By the way, ABVC open printed a high of 187 and pulled back. I think it actually might be halted again. It is. Oh, that's fun.
Duke looking great. At least.
NVCR trying to bounce here too. 102 print.
Well, looks like day trade so far for the year. 2 for 2. 50-50. Swing trade. Duke's still working. And Duke is actually going to probably make me more money than probably all these trades. That's why I like my swing trading life.
Yeah,
it's just nice and calm.
Nice
and patient.
I'm with you, Mitch, and I'm trying. I'm trying to look for more swing trades this year.
Yes, it's how it is sometimes. Apple's doing pretty well not Apple. Airlines doing pretty well today. Saying Jay DeRoma. That's interesting with oil lower. Yeah, it should help them in the long run, right?
It's still a hard trade though.
It's
still
hard timing. I tried to time it a little earlier when we were doing that 14 push towards 15. And I got caught in that American Airlines. I did a swing trade there. Didn't really lose on the trade, but I was up into the green for a while and didn't take the green. We'll see if American Airlines can come back towards 14. First stop, I think, is 1380s. That was big support for that price action to the left. We'll see if it gets there.
Bomi Hunter saying, nice to hear talk of swing trades. Amen. Amen. Let me know what swing targets you have. We'll keep looking at it. We can discuss a little bit more. Jay Wright saying Netflix went green too. Indeed, it did. Now, Netflix, I've got 311.14 as yesterday's intraday high. Looks like that is probably the next spot to be tested here on Netflix to the upside. Not Netflix, not one that I would want to swing right now. Although a pretty decent chart off the bottoming at 162.
SPY got close to the VWAP there. I'm looking to see if it comes back. 380.61 is what I have. We'll see if we come right back down towards the lows. Lows on the day is 378.89. If it does come down, I think Tesla will break. But if it comes back through the VWAP, look for maybe Tesla to come towards VWAP. We'll see what happens here. Qs overall, what's going on with the Qs? Because I think Qs are also very important. They just rejected the VWAP. We'll see if that kind of recovers here. Show you guys that the Qs right now trying to battle back here, get above the VWAP. We'll see if it actually holds that push.
Jim, that's what we've been saying for a long time. Need a better market environment for swing trading. Absolutely. Now I'm hoping, we'll see how dangerous that ends up being. I'm hoping that 2023 gives us that environment, but we'll see. Unsure yet. Wanted to bring this one up too. It's another Jay Rice shout here. CRISPR did get an upgrade here. EF Hutton initiated coverage on the stock with buy rating a $75 price target. We're currently at 46. That's given us a nice pop here today. Realistically, I think one of the levels I'd like to see CRISPR trade up to is about 65. I am not familiar with EF Hutton. Is anyone else out there? Anyone else familiar with EF Hutton? I'm not. That's not a firm that I follow.
Nope.
Yep.
Looks like my SPY short here is still working out. Could possibly get stopped out, especially if this 380 stays strong on the 15-minute. I did end up going short and got triggered on the short on Rivian on to the downside here. I'm going to go ahead and cancel the other. Actually, no, I'm going to hold on to it. If it gets filled, cool. But I only got filled 100 shares instead of 200 shares. Stop loss for me on this one is going to be about And we'll just call it about 1730. Nothing too crazy on RIVN.
I'm too young. I went from too old to too young pretty quick there. I'll look him up though. Quantum saying Ryan's got hopium for 2023. Quantum, I'm trying to start the year off optimistic. I want to be optimistic. I don't want to be, short, bear. Everything's negative. It's hard when the sentiment is like that, but definitely looking to place some or to time some trades here. And I'd rather do swing trades. Bomi Hunter says, I apologize for ragging on short. That's all I hear. No reason to apologize. You're absolutely right. The sentiment's really terrible. We've been hearing a lot about that, but we're trying to move through all of that. We're trying to give you plays to the upside and plays to the downside here on this show. So
if you guys like scalping and you're looking for smaller type moves, Coke looks interesting for cut down to the downside.
Coke, KO?
Yeah, KO. Pepsi, right? Look at those. Those look interesting to me. They've been wanting to break on their dailies. I've been looking at them, and Pepsi to lead. Coke started showing some weakness yesterday, so big level underneath it, right? 62.60. I feel like if you really kind of whoosh through here and you also get the SPY or the Qs to kind of go back into your favor to the downside, that's where you can get that nice little extension move down. We'll see what happens. Of course, these stocks have remained really strong since October, so be careful there. Daily charts, don't run away, Zunaid. So 62.50, important level on the daily. If it starts going through there, I think we get back to like 62, 61. Does that mean that we're going back to 55? No, but I could see it like at least pull back. It was a pretty decent move that it had. Even where it is right now, it's up about 16%. So we'll see.
What do you see in terms like 60, 59? What kind of level are you looking at?
I could see. I usually look for those like nice little measured pullbacks, right? So you can use your fibs, right? That's the easiest way. Use the fib retracement levels. So the first level right here is 23.6. That's where we start really actually just breaking the pattern. Then we go towards the 38.2. That brings us right towards around 60, 81s. 50% brings us all the way back to 60. So if you think about it in that sense, it's a pretty good trade there that you could be making. What I like about Coke is that this is the type of trade that that you don't have to worry too much for tape bombs, right? You can kind of more worry about the levels that you're really going off of and just go off of that, right? So it's nice and measured. It's a measured trade. That's what I would say.
It doesn't move in really crazy, unpredictable ways. So that's very true. I actually used to trade Coke calls back when it was around $40. Arden is saying buy cost on dips. You know me and my Costco. I love it. I'll be honest. I'm with you on that. The issue here is that I just don't know when those are going to work out again. And when I watch things like Constellation Brands trade down, and I'm just not sure what the level is on Costco. You look at the daily chart, it's really kind of just trading sideways here. And to my eye, it looks like it might actually trade back down. That would be good. I'd be able to add it at a cheaper price, but not pushing people out of the way to buy that one just yet. And then real quick here, OP was asking, are you down in dollar on your Apple, Mitch? No, I believe you called the stop out on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Long before the dollar, yeah.
Yeah, hell no. And it was, remember, 1/5 of the position. To put it in perspective, Duke trade, the swing trade, which is smaller size, is way deeper into the green than that loss in Apple. If I had to put it percentage-wise, it'd just take me a second, but I'll give you the exact price exit. Exact price exit was 127.10. Entry was 126.40. All right, we'll see SQQQ bouncing here. It looked interesting for me. We would want to see the Qs kind of come right back down. Tesla come right back down. You're seeing that weakness come in here. Let's see if the Qs start breaking to the downside and just start coming down towards the lows. SQQQ looked interesting off the VWAP there. Of course, this is a very similar trade, right? You're just trading the inverse of the kind of the index there. We'll see what happens. Tesla is so important. Will we come right back down and break that 108? Look at that action straight down.
So that after that SPY bounce here, it looks like we might be rolling back over.
Well, the VWAP rejection, nice little VWAP rejection there. 380.52. Where do we go to? 380.55. Nice little VWAP rejection there. What do you see here also? 1, 2, 3, And then what do you try? It tries to come back towards that 38.50. Rejection usually brings us to support. I'd be looking at right now, important levels is around the 379, 67 level. If we break through there, then we can start heading back towards 379. We'll see what happens here. Does we get a volume increase? And why not? Let's talk a little MACD. I don't think we talk MACD often here. So we can do that today. Why not? Let's do a little bit more of that. I'm not taking too many trades right now, so I can go ahead and kind of talk about this. The MACD is the moving average convergence divergence, right? It's using two moving averages and a trigger line to tell you about momentum, right? So you can see how the SPY was breaking to the downside here. When the lines get further away, it shows you momentum towards that direction, right? Towards the price action. When the price action comes close, you can expect a kind of reversal action. So you can see here how when you went close to the line, that's when you really started reversing on the price action. Now we're looking for that to converge right back to the downside. What you want to see is this kind of action where you see that little flip and it comes right back down. That's if you're wanting to be on the short side. If you want to see long, you want to see this expand above this and hold above. Really get above into the above zero line. This is that little line that you're seeing right here. That's a zero line. If you can hold the zero line, you're looking well. You break right back below it, be careful. Just wanted to use a little MACD indicator talk today.
All right, got stopped out on my SPY as that one just went ahead and put a nice little green adult, situation there. Looks like something went ahead and happened because that was just a wild pop with a lot of volume, and it's 10:08. So I don't know what numbers would have happened at that.
There's something happened. Let's find out.
But so you've got a nice little pop on the SPY. Let's see if it goes ahead and breaks this 382 or not. But that's unfortunate. Now our Rivian trade still in it, still intact.
I know some oil numbers were expected, but
at 10:08 though, that's weird.
At 10, so
yeah, that's an 8-minute
random 10:08.
Exactly.
Something happened here, team. Let's find out. That's what we got to do.
So because of that, and thanks to that, I'm down now 131 on the day. Not exactly the way I'd like to. It is what it is, but yeah, that's a nice, beautiful green candle there. If you were long. Russia truce for a day is what Daniel's saying in the chat.
Yeah, that's.
What does that even mean? True.
I was going to say truce for a day. What's that about? The other thing, I don't see anything here for SPY.
I'm not seeing anything.
News. Yeah, I'm trying to check the Twitter streets though. See if we can get anything from Twitter here.
All right, you guys are go running through the streets. Yeah, I'm in Russia, the main street. You guys looking at? We got Zunaid. We need you to get on the Reddit game, man. We need to get on the Reddit game, the real streets, the underground streets.
Well, I'm seeing Russia, Ukraine truce, whatever that means in terms of long-term, short-term, whatever the case may be. But looking at the SPY, though, it comes right around. It comes right back down. So we'll see if it wants to go ahead and break 380 or if that's just the way it goes. But, man, it's just unfortunate. But it looks like
looking around. I won't say too much.
It looks like Russia will declare a truce with Ukraine from 12 hours, so like in army time, January 6th through 24, 24th hour, January 7th. So yeah, like Daniel said, appreciate you, Daniel.
So that Russia could just like kind of load up on ammo and get ready for the next stand, or what is going on out there, team? Oh my God. Hey, that's just how it is. And one of the things that I would say is the algos. The algos a lot of the times read that, and they read that as super bullish. They jump it towards the upside. That's why you got that action, Zunaid. What you got were the computers giving you the, it, my friend. But we'll see if that turns around, right? If the real traders start coming in here and arbitraging to the downside for an overreaction to the upside with that truce.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why it's called a truce instead of a ceasefire, but whatever. Nonetheless, though, let that be a lesson on you want to make sure that you're going in with size that you're comfortable losing in case it goes above your stop loss, right? Because my stop loss, let's see, actually, I don't know where I got stopped out. My stop loss was around the 70s, if you will, I believe, and I got stopped out at the 83. So it's not too bad. It's not too crazy, but if you have a terrible broker, if you have too much size and a news like that happens and it continues to move, especially if you're in a ticker like a company and they get some new something and investor day happens or whatever the case may be, you're now looking at a lot bigger of a bag where you now have hopium to go and have a day trade turn into a swing trade, and your bag just gets that much bigger. And I'm not talking about in a good way. So let that be a lesson to always go ahead and manage your risk and live to fight another day.
Always do that. And this is interesting. The ceasefire allowed people to attend services on Christmas Eve as well as on Christmas Day. Putin orders a one-day Christmas truce. This is kind of reminiscent of the Christmas truce of 1914, but a little bit different. Anyway.
Wow.
Their Christmas, David, their Christmas is later. I don't know the exact day off the top of my head.
I'm looking it up right now. Russia Christmas.
Well, so David believes that it's on January 7th, which makes sense because that is around the truce day that they had talked about.
Here, I'll just look it up. I just didn't know it off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's the 7th. Yeah.
There you go. Look at our chat, letting us know, helping us out.
Look, our chat's awesome. We've been saying it for a long time. Our
it's all about.
community is amazing here. Man, that's why we ask for likes, right? Because the likes help keep us going, helps keep this community flowing and growing.
Did you know that Christmas trees were banned by the Soviet Union until 1935?
I did not, but that's sad.
That is sad. I love Christmas trees.
Just a heads up, whatever tab you've got with your Pro, we can see it on the bottom. It's about Ukraine and stuff, but just
that's the news.
I know.
That's just the Pro news. Appreciate you though. Yeah, that's the Pro news. I was just more long catching.
Can't get canceled 5 days into the year. You know what I mean? Like
not yet. At least.
Yeah, give it at least until February.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I think I have the stream. I think I have the stream experience. If I fail, you let me know today.
I can't tell you how many people who have stream experience and professional broadcasting experience on TV have gotten canceled. But if you think you're better than them, though, hey, look.
Hey, flex.
Speaking of flexing, we're going to have to add another 100 shares on the short on Rivian. But I'll be honest, man, that spike to the upside has me tilted a little bit. But so we're going to take a break. We're going to take a little break.
Jesse,
we're already filled.
Jesse, I appreciate the kind words here.
That is very
appreciate
sweet.
all of your support. I'm here for everyone. Kendra Duke, good, nice to see you again. Glenn, our old friend Neil reached out last night. It was good to hear from him. Good morning. Good morning, Kendra Duke. Good call, Sean.
All right.
Good looking out.
So now look, if you're
who's knocking at the door there?
Yeah, that's
a
hopefully
that was
opportunity.
A little overreaction. I feel like shorting the SPY.
Well, if you're going to short the SPY, you want to make sure that your risk off is above the 382. So you're risking about a point there.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking for the 1, 2, 3 rule to play in.
Sorry about the dead air there. I would take
no worries. I think we're all just looking to see what happens here, just like everybody. Looks like the SPY is just hanging out here. It's not like it really ripped. I think it was just algos pushing it higher, and then
I think you're right.
Really immediately it came back down after they realized that even the algos jumped. But we'll see where I hear if we actually take out 382. That would show to me that it wasn't just an overreaction.
We did get the Reuters post here. Kansas City Fed President George says it will be key to hold rates up once the hike ends or the hikes end. I would imagine I know that there was some thought that maybe late in the year the Fed would cut. The language or the jawboning that they're doing certainly doesn't seem like that's the case. It seems like the rates are going to be higher for longer here. Higher for longer. ABVC, a halt fest here today. Crow, are you trading that? It was all a plot to stop out Zunaid. Crow having fun with the group here.
Hey, what are you saying? Oh, yeah, no, it was. It was me and my measly 125 shares. They were like,
They said, let's get him. Let's get him.
We didn't like that he made money last year. Let's go make sure he's red. Jerks.
All right. Well,
I'm still gonna go short though. If it cracks 380 to the downside, I'm still gonna go short. And
that's your level. I hear you.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a nice trend line that we're holding right now. That's around the 380.40 levels. When you crack that, going through that 380s, yeah, it'll look nice technically also. And another thing to always look for, and I think this is an important thing, and who taught me this was Joel Elconin. Hope he's listening out there. But definitely look at the open price. If we don't recover opening price, a lot of the times Joel says, why are you even looking to the upside? Like, you haven't recovered on the day, right? And so he always talks about looking at that opening price for rejections. Also, when you get that upside action, look where we went up to. Even on the wick, we went up towards 381.84, our opening price, 381.37. So that's where around that level, we'll look to see if we actually start holding up there, which I think is going to be very important.
BLPH 230s had good support indeed, and 278 looks to be that spot that it really needs to break to the upside on BLPH. What's up, Mitch?
I can't help myself. I can't help myself. I got to take a little bit of the SQQQs. All right, took a little bit there. Like I've talked about, I'm trying to go into a fifth. So I just took my first fifth, willing to work it, try not to change the kind of the process, right? But I need to get a better price, right? I got 56.07. The idea is to get about 2 or 3 entries at a better price. Then once we start going into the direction that I'm looking for, then I can press the gas pedal with the last remaining. But it looks like I'm already getting the action. So if I only get it on 1/5, I only get it on 1/5. It is what it is. I'm not going to add up here. Now that I don't believe in, because that just usually just, I get a little bit of a pullback and then all of a sudden my whole risk is off. But we'll see we'll see right here. Big thing for the Qs. Do we get right back below the VWAP? SPY also, we'll take a look there. SPY's to 380.36. Think we can get one more little uplift before the takedown. We'll look to see if we get it.
Sorry, just I know you guys were saying I know that you were saying that Russia news was false. I'm kind of looking into that, but I mean, it sure seems like it's legit.
I mean, yeah, it could be legit, right? I think regardless if it's legit or not, it made the stock smooth, right? So
there's no question. There's no question.
We could definitely keep it at that, right? And I think that sometimes we need to ask ourselves, if a catalyst is important, it should make the stocks move, right? If it's not making the stocks move, then we can kind of tell ourselves, well, the market doesn't really care about that catalyst, right? And I think that's where you're getting what's called price confirmation from the catalyst, right? That's why we're looking to see if the SPY really recovers that wick level, or was it just an overreaction with the algos?
BLPH breaking down a little bit here. Let's check it on ABVC.
Let's take a look here.
This is just a little too thin. This ABVC is just kind of all over the place, too thin here. BLPH still breaking down. ZLab, this is the Zunaid ticker, huh? Just because it's got a Z.
Is it popping? Is it going? Is it still going to the upside? Because my portfolio is not. So hopefully that thing is.
It is, yes.
It's my man. Oh, look at that. $50 rejection. Woo, look at that. Just like my personality. I love it.
Dookie Duke working for me, guys. Starting to work. Down to 102.94s. Let's go, Duke. All right, looking around, what's moving out there. Going to go to my intraday scanner to take a look at what's moving in the last 30 minutes. Winners or losers, right? Let's take a look here. I'm going to bring up the screen here. Here's on my pro. We'll take a look. NVCR, of course, Novocure. That's been moving all day. Data is one that's moving to the upside. If you want to look for a penny stock or a cheaper name that's doing good, this is the Chinese name, DADA, having a nice move as of late. NAMS, not seeing much there. Nine energy source. That's getting some lift there. NINE. Want to take a look at that one. Z Lab. We talked about that. Zunaid's Lab. Or at least I think it's Zunaid's
Hey,
Lab.
man, all I do is make money. Gains.
That one's still doing well out the gates. We were looking at that in this morning. It was at 45. It's up there to 49.40s. It's actually doing pretty decent.
And it's holding its gains, too.
Mm-hmm. XPEV showing up for me right now. So if you want to take a look at that one, PDD. This is why I like using like a 30-minute scanner, just looking for recent moves, especially when you're kind of getting these quiet periods where you're looking around, like what's moving. Billy. Billy with a nice little push. Not a bad day for Chinese stocks overall. Duke, let's go. Look at that. Let it go. Let's go, Duke. Let's go. Come on, Dookie. Let's be a little turd. Spy, what are we going to do? I don't want no chop fest. Come on. Let's pick a direction.
Uh-oh. How'd you guys handle... Yeah, no. Well, now, thankfully, I've gone from taking care of fires to taking care of silly things in life, such as fantasy football decisions, you know?
Oh,
one.
Are you managing the league? What's
I'm
up?
not, but I'm helping a buddy out. Your coach to the
Coca-Cola.
downside.
Nice call, Mitch.
That was a nice one. I don't do
sure
scalps. That's not my type.
Yeah, I didn't
But that's
scalp that either. I do scalps to the upside, not to the downside, but that was a good call. You were spot on with that. Spot on with that.
And then you could look at Pepsi, right? We were talking, it should be both of them doing it, right? Look at that. Boom. Not too bad there. Pepsi, Coke. We'll see if it take out now to the downside. Spy just hanging out here. Here we gonna go for that 380. Woo! Zunaid's getting those big shoes on right now. I see him.
I'm not gonna lie. I am definitely in my mindset of like, screw you. We're loading up as soon as this thing goes out and cracks. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go short 100 if a 5-minute candle closes below, and then if a 15-minute closes below, we might load up if we get the right entry point. So yeah, I'm hawking it right over here, and we'll see which way.
I mean, if we're talking fantasy, you might want to do the guy that has the trophy in the back.
You might want to do the guy. What?
You might want to ask the guy that has the trophy.
Just because of that, I'm not.
To tell you the truth, we're screwed this year, Zunaid. We're screwed.
Well, so what we've done is you know, if you have your player, right? Which, by the way, of course, none of this.
Ooh, there's the 380.
None of this matters with, you know, him in the hospital and things like that. So make that very clear. This is not a priority.
100%.
This is light conversation that we're having. None of this matters compared to the life of that young man. What we've done,
SQQQ is doing well. I wasn't able to get the ads. It never went below my entry, but let's go.
What we've done is calculated the average of the players still remaining, and then that's what you give them. So it's like, hey, you averaged 12 points throughout the season. We're going to assume that you would have gotten an average of 12 points this season as well, or that game. So
I can't blame you. It's just like, it's tough when it's like, you know, hundreds of dollars. Someone's getting hundreds of dollars. Someone's getting a little bit less. So
yeah,
it is what it is, though. I hear you, man. I'm going through the same struggles in our leagues. I think we're just gonna.
I don't know. I don't know what to do, honestly.
Yeah, there's really not. I don't think there's an easy solution to this. The easy solution is that I hope it didn't happen, but they did, and so I think at that point,
that's not a solution.
Yeah, at that point, there is no solution. I think at this, I would just say co-champions a lot of the times is probably what's going to happen. I think.
Absolutely not. This isn't youth camp with co-champions and everybody's a winner. No.
But how could you say that? I mean, like mine's were like pretty close. I mean, yeah, there was one person that was slightly.
Did you win?
No, I wasn't in it.
Oh.
I didn't make it this year. But it's just tough. It's just tough. And the reason why I didn't make it, and I'll just say it really quickly. Yeah, Russell Wilson. Yeah, that guy.
You know what's frustrating, Mitch, is that on several leagues, I banked on Trevor Lawrence this year. And at the beginning of the year, he really, really struggled. And by the time he started to turn it on, it was all over. Frustrating, man. Russell Wilson's even more frustrating.
SPY cracked 380s, now trying to hold it as like a little bit of resistance. It just went towards 380.11. Looking for the next little whoosh now. I'm looking for that whoosh. Let's see if we get it.
Shelly says my Palladium trade is now under investigation. Ruh-roh. What happened, Shelly?
Isn't it always fun, yo? That sucks. That's how it is, Shelly. Sometimes when you're in some crazy trade that you didn't even know about, all of a sudden you got to deal with something that you're like, what? Investigation? The hell? That's why sometimes it's important to know the story behind the stocks that you're trading, right? I know that some people don't care about dailies and weeklies. But the truth is that if we're going to be trading them on a longer term or a swing trade, we might want to know what's a part of the company, right? Look a little bit underneath the hood.
She's talking about Palladium.
Yeah. So I'm sure it was like a swing trade if she's talking about it. I don't think it was kind of more of a day trade, but
no, it was. No. It got closed in 3 seconds.
Oh man.
I don't remember all the specifics, so I don't want to try.
Yeah. No. I just
confirm that.
I kind of assumed there, but I mean, holy crap! If it was just on today, then that just sucks.
I don't know if it was today though. Yeah. Like I said, I don't remember all the deets for this trade.
Palladium. What's the ticker?
What is it? /PD. It's a futures.
Oh, that's what's going on there. It's the future. I don't mess with the future. Zunaid knows that's our future, man.
Hey, the future is that we crack 380.
That's my boy.
You're gonna crack 380.
We'll see. The dark side. Can we get the dark side today?
And here's the thing, right? I'm waiting for this 15-minute close of this 380, man. We got 2 minutes to go. Come on. Just come on to the downside, please.
That's QQQ pulling back here, giving me a chance to get my ad here. I'm trying to get it below it. Just went down to 56, but it was so quick. Went to 55.98. Didn't even give me the chance. It was just so quick. I would have had my hand on the trigger to add, or the order is out there.
What we got? SPY bouncing again off of the 380. Okay. All right. Well, look, if I end my day down about $130, so be it. But I'm still in this Rivian short, so it might end up being more or less. I'm not gonna lie to you. Currently, we're up $31, so maybe I should just close this trade and say thank you for $30. But
what was it? 917.
You know what? We will just let it rock because it's down 5% compared to the market that's down 1%. If I go and lose on this trade, it's cool. I'm practicing my patience, if you will, which is definitely something I need in life.
I just added a little bit there on SQQQ. Still holding the 55.89s. Really don't want to see that kind of 88 break to the downside. We really should reclaim VWAP. We want to see price action above VWAP now. It's okay to get wicks at the VWAP, but you don't really want to see closing below that, especially the 56.
SPY bouncing, but it still looks like it wants more downside here.
So I'll show you guys. I'm on the SQQQ and the Qs.
That's right, you're doing the Qs,
but it's not a big deal. I mean, it's very similar right now.
Yep.
Shelly.
Crow, are you trading HKD today? Crow says HKD about to rip.
HKD, I saw that. This morning. I was like, yo, no way, this stock is back. Can I get the lift here? All right, looking good there. Man, Duke is working for me. That thing's just, that's why I like swing trades. I just stopped focusing on it. Not the emotions are so it's such a less of an emotional trade when you're doing swing trades. The only hard part I think with swing trades is sometimes understanding where you're going to take your profits. That's what I would say. To me, it's never hard really to understand where I'm risking. It's more along sometimes when I get swing trades and they're starting to go really deep into the green, it's hard to be like, do I cut it now? Sometimes you get a little greedy. You're like, oh no, I can get a little bit more.
Well, that's why scaling is going to benefit you so much, right?
100%.
Be able to book those gains. You're not going to feel that. It's going to be more mechanical trading for you.
Yeah, and especially in the zero commission environment. That's the one thing that I think traders are not really completely grasping, and that's how the computers are having an advantage on us, I think, because they're not going in with their full order. They're a lot of times you see that algorithmic volume, right? The 100 shares just and they're just putting in orders, just lining them up. So they get the best average on the pullbacks, and then they sell even into the rips sometimes little by little, right? They sell a little bit, kind of get that bid right back, and then all of a sudden you see it go right back on the offer. That's how they make money in between us. The slowdown is crazy right now, though. We had such speed up, and then all of a sudden the
and then
slowdown
it's just kind of died. Yeah. NVCR 109. So huge pullback from that initial pop, but a 14-point bounce here off the intraday lows.
Tesla looking like it's leading.
380. That's the fight that we've got.
You see Tesla right now? What do you think about that chart, Zunaid?
Let's go ahead and check out Tesla. Go ahead, buddy.
Tesla wants lower.
Well,
I'll let you break it down, but
well, here the simple breakdown for me is the 110. I mean, we talked about the 110 for the past few trading sessions. You can see how it impacted here. You can see how once it finally broke, obviously we talked about how it was a little bit choppy, but this was a level here. It held a pre-market, could not hold. You got the retest of 110 and the rejection. So, I mean, the setup was absolutely there. Our focus was obviously on the SPY, and I saw Tesla coming up to the 110. The reason I didn't personally take it is because even though I have a quote unquote short bias with the SPY at that time was breaking the 380s, I was already short the SPY. I was short the Qs, and I was short Rivian. And that's too many shorts to where if I pile on another short in Tesla, I'm just a little too leveraged than what I'm personally comfortable with, if you will. So that's the reason I didn't short Tesla. Hindsight, duh, idiot, you should have. But that's on me. Nonetheless, though, where do we go from here? You know your level that you need to break is a low of day, and I think you can go ahead and revisit the 106s. To me, though, it may not be the best setup. I think you might have a better chance at the SPY cracking the 380s and then visiting 379s and then possibly 378 later today.
All right, looking for the break on the SQQ through the 5650s. We've been up here before. Now that we want to really see it take off, not through the VWAP from here on out. It shouldn't even cut through there. So that gives me an ability to be at this point, break even on the rest, looking for a nice little win. Q's starting to come down. Let's see if the SPY follows also, and we start getting another breakdown. We'll see what happens there. Tesla could lead through the breakdown, and let's start seeing if we start getting some shorts again.
So that pop from the one-day truce headline, we've retraced 66%, 2/3 of that stick, it looks like. Tesla wants to break low. Shocker. Yeah,
it's tough though. It's tough though. I can't blame you for getting out of that trade, Zunaid. I really can't.
Yeah, I mean, we had our stop set, so it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, right?
I'm not even upset about it. But
yeah, you trade your plan, right? Is that what you did?
We sure did, and that's exactly what we're about to do in about 30 seconds. If SPY can go ahead and maintain itself below this level, I will short 100 shares. And because I'm on tilt, if the 15-minute gives us an opportunity, I will short another 100 shares as well.
I'll show the SPY there. You keep talking about it, but I just wanted to also say, remember when we talked about the MACD crossing back over? Look right here, the crossover back over for the SPY. Yeah. And so that's how you use the MACD to maybe day trade, right? And I just wanted to kind of bring that in today as some kind of education for you guys. Hope you guys saw the MACD and how it works there. Remember that you're looking for especially crossovers completely. And if you can't hold above the 0 line, that's usually when you start getting back towards the short side is the 0 line. But back to you guys.
All right, there we go. Short SPY. Not the best fill in the world. That's on me. Yep, that's definitely on me. Here, let me talk about the mistake that I made. I'm a short SPY. It is what it is. And, now it's heading to the downside. But here's why I'm upset with myself. Let me first go ahead and set my stop losses. We're going to risk about 380.69 because LOL. And we'll see if we can get a little bit lower. Realistically, I'll probably cover this around 379s. But here's why I'm upset with myself. I was too focused on my slack. So when this 5-minute candle closed, I ideally like to go ahead and short it on the retest, which would have been around 379.90s, which means I went ahead and got a crappier price by like 20-30 cents, which means 20-30 bucks, which is about 1/4 of the profit size that I missed out on. So bad entry on my part. The reason for it I just explained. Nonetheless, we're short, and now we are going to go ahead and see if we can go ahead and lock in some money on this trade or not.
Real quick, we got a question here. What's the deal with nat gas? Thanks for the reading. Beach bum nat gas storage minus 221B versus the actual 240 expected. So that's your move in nat gas. Actually, talking to somebody who's watching nat gas for a potential trade, his area on the actual nat gas, which is /NG, and your broker is looking for about 350, and then you could choose whether you want to add Boyle or UNG to play that for the upside. So I'm not in that trade, but that is one that I'm watching. We're talking about that within the group of traders as well in the happy hour show. That's what's going on.
All right, took a little bit of profit on that move here. Didn't want to interrupt, but took it off at 63 just to make myself go back to break even on the rest. And now I can let those rest of the shares just kind of work here and give us that kind of gain if we're going to get it for the day. Of course, the swing trade's still doing really well for us, so I'm not even worried about having green overall, but let's see if we can get through 57. 57 is going to be hard to get through. I wanted to give it a chance, so I took some profit to give myself that ability. Let's see if we can actually get that lift. The Qs would need to break through the lows. That's the hard part, right? Are we going to bounce there, or are we going to really just break through it? We'll find out.
All right. It's 10:30, so I'm going to head out, get my steps, deal with this Slack situation, and figure my life out. But it was always a pleasure, y'all. We will see you on Monday.
Yeah. Have a good one, my friend.
See
All right. Zunaid getting out of here.
I'm going to hang around with you for about another 7 minutes here. I actually have a Twitter Spaces to do right after this. So
Twitter Spaces.
Yeah, that's going to be with OG the Strat, and Swing Pony. So it should be pretty fun. We're going to talk about positioning going into 2023. So I'm going to have to dip, go to the washroom, and prepare for that real quick, Mitch. But I got you here for another little bit.
All right, no worries. I'm just looking at to see if we can get the continuation of that SQQQ and the kind of SPY breakdown. I can just put up the SQQQ. I'll just bring it smaller just so we can have the SPY to the right hand side. Looks like the SPY got down there to 379.50s, bounced again there. It's trying to get back there to VWAP. It's just kind of slow now. And I hate when this happens, right? Like we were all looking for like kind of that movement, and now it's just kind of slowing down. We'll look to see what happens if we can actually get out and shake either to the upside or the downside right now. It seems like we're just in some chop. Wouldn't you know it, team? Getting back to the chop. Anything under 70 is cold. Beach bum. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know.
Love my 60s.
Richard, shoot me an email, man. We're still doing it.
I love my 60s, man.
Me too. And actually here in Detroit, it's actually been warm here. No snow today. It's starting to cool off a little bit, but I'm with you, Mitch. I prefer the cold.
Yeah,
I know. I'm in the minority. I get it.
I know. And to tell you the truth, I miss my like real cold from Colorado. I miss it. All right, we'll see if we take that next leg. What's going to happen? What are you guys seeing out there? Anything that's catching your radar? Throw it up in the chat. How's that NVCR trading today?
Yeah, that's actually, that's kind of been crazy, right? Had a huge retracement from that pre-market high, and then we immediately reversed at 94, traded down to 94, bounced, and it's really just been grinding back up. The amazing part about this is that this is a 17-point move now off the bottom. So a nice little move here. I didn't take this one, but a nice little move here on NVCR. The volume seems to be drying up, and it seems to be drifting higher here.
Yeah, I like that. I like the candle that it gave towards that 10, like an hourly pullback, but it is what it is. That's a tough chart to even try to play. Not even gonna lie. I'd be looking for maybe VWAP bounces now or pullbacks to like 105 area, but that one's a hard one. TD Ameritrade turns off day trading buying power for Tesla stock. Someone's getting that margin call, EKS. Oh man, that's not good. I would expect to see Tesla crack with that kind of talk. You hear that, Ryan?
I'm sorry, I was dealing with the text. Say that one more time?
No, you're good. I think it's interesting. TD Ameritrade supposedly turning off day trading buying power for Tesla stock.
Okay, probably not good is what I.
Yeah, some people getting that margin call, right? That's what I would think.
I'm not trading Tesla.
I don't know. I think maybe some people getting a little bit of that knock on the door from the broker saying you gotta pay up, man. Why would TD do that? It could be, margins, like it gets to a point where you have to go and, you go collect your money, right? It could be also that maybe they don't have that much borrows of the stock left. Maybe there's too much of the stock that's getting shorted at once. Things like that. There's a lot of things that why they could do it, Humble. So I'm not going to really just bang it on that, but that's just what I would think. Yeah, Chucky, it would. But in other brokers, right? So let's say it would restrict it on TD, right? But then a lot of times traders will go towards different brokerages. And if that really is happening, they might go short in different areas, right? 108 just seems to be holding, though. That's also going to be very vital, right? We've talked about that since this morning, since before it even opened. I was calling out 108s for Tesla. Would we break 108? That was going to be the important thing for the complete breakdown of the market for the range also. And we came down close. We went to 379. I was wondering if we were going to come back down and actually really break that Tuesday low of 377. But it's looking like closer and closer. I don't think it's going to happen. It's just kind of sideways action right now. Not much going on in this SQQQ trade. I might just set a stop. There's not much going on there. We got 13s. I got 11s. So if we break through the VWAP, just got to get out. Just keeping an eye on what's going on out there, team. Hood did it with GME and AMC. Yeah, that's how they did it. Brokers will pay you to lend your Tesla shares. I'm sure. It's getting hard to borrow because of its loss in value. Yeah, I'm sure it's getting hard to borrow. Watch SPY today might take off. Jonathan Loveless with a bullish call?
Uh-oh, what's going on?
I pay attention to you, Jonathan, when you mention things like that. You're like me. Mainly in the bear camp. Nothing wrong with that. But then when we want to call bull, there's nothing wrong with that either. If you're calling for it, Jonathan, I'll look. Market going flatline. I agree. I need a flatline button where it's just like beep. That's how I feel like we are right now. I can use my little bleep.
All right, Mitch, I'm sorry, man. I do have to bounce and get ready for this.
Go ahead, my friend.
Sorry to leave you. We will be back.
There's not much going on.
There isn't. We'll see how it goes. Be safe out there,
got
folks.
out of that SQQs. Out of that SQQs. Not going to stick around. There you go. Have fun, Ryan. Get out of here, my friend. All right, team. We're going to wrap up here in just a few minutes. It seems like the market's gotten a little bit more of that flat line. I still got my Duke trade, so I'll still be working that kind of swing trade. We'll see what happens on this one. Will Duke start coming down and break that trend line, break the support around the 102s, really coming towards the 100, the 99. That's what I'll be looking for there on Duke. We'll see what happens there. MACD's starting to show me a little bit of sign of that push down, but really need to crack that zero line to really think that it's coming down. We'll see what happens there in Duke. XLU is another way that you guys can be looking at some of these utilities to see if they keep coming down. We'll see if it breaks there. Let's go through really quick sector outlook. Overall from the open, what is in the green, right? Well, energy in the green today, 0.74 up. We'll see what happens there. What's trading good? Looks like that 9 I talked about earlier, trading really well there. Valero having a good day. VLO, nice little push back up. We'll see what happens if these can stay strong. MPC is another one that's doing well. Consumer cyclicals starting to get back into the green. What is doing well there is residential construction, leisure, and auto parts. So keep a watch on what's happening. If we get that lift, footwear continuing, Nike into the green. So if you're looking for stocks that have stayed strong, a lot of these relative stocks still continuing the push here. Nike having a great day there. So we'll see if Crocs can catch up and get back to the green. All right, team. What else is doing well? Looks like that's the only ones that are into the green from the open. Real estate into the red, utilities in the red, and technology in the red. We'll see if those can come back. Basic materials also in the red. Was looking to see if gold and silver were going to have a good day today. It is not. It's pulling back fast. We'll see what happens. Like always, you guys can stick around right here on Benzinga. Benzinga Live coming up next. That's going to be at 11:30, team. Going to get out of here as it's definitely slowed up, and I'm not going to just keep jumping into the chop. Right now, you can see the SPY is just kind of chopping around. It tried to put a little up move here. Couldn't do it. So just keep watch. We'll see what happens today. Did look like we tried to crack the 380s. We bounced right underneath there. So we'll see if we eventually take out either the highs of 381.50s, or do we come back down and take out 379.25s and really come down to that 379 area. Sideways action. So for right now, I'm just going to say we'll see what happens. It looks like I might not get my range break, but it's still part of the day, still red on the day. We'll see if we actually come back down towards the end of the day. Stay out there, teams. Stay fighting. Apple's one way also that I'd keep watch. If Apple can stay above the VWAP, we'll be looking all right. If that gets a nice flush down through the 125.50s, well, look out for that downside action. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, team. Like always, guys, you guys can stick around right here. Benzinga all day. Later today on Stock Market Movers, I do have Jay Wood joining me from the New York Stock Exchange. Don't miss that interview. That's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern. Stock Market Movers starts. And I do want to get you guys into the book club. If you guys want to join the book club, definitely join in. I'll give you guys the link one last time here as we're going to get towards that. On Sunday, we'll be actually doing a little bit of a meeting with the book club to determine the first book. I'm going to let everybody kind of vote for the first book. I'll have some names. But like always, stick around, team. We got a lot to go to in 2023. We'll see you guys next time. Hit the like button on your way out if you didn't already do so.
Check.